He's very, very proud of his stalls, and he should be. I am judging horse show today, so tears were shed. That is the game plan. We shall see.
We were young and we were free and running, never bothered about what could be coming. Every day we danced and life was smiling. We were young and drunk in love.
Happy Monday, happy Labor Day. It is the afternoon now. I got a ton of housework done this morning, so now I can move outside. We have to be at a lesson / trial at 5 just down the road from here, so we have just about 2 hours to get stuff done. So I am gonna quick water my plants and then head out to start taking fencing down. Sadie's running the field. I have Sammy out here on a long, it's a horse long time essentially, and this is either gonna be great or a disaster. So we'll see. He's already tangled. Strong start. Yikes. Okay. I hope it's just this pole. That whole paddock came off so easy, but this one, I can't even get these ones to move. And the other ones, I just had it like loosely wrapped. So I just had to like bend it a little bit, but they've got these like really wired on tight. So, oh, I really hope it's just this pole. This is really concerning me. I'm gonna go try a different one. Okay. So I got 2 of those poles down and it took me 45 minutes, and I thought that this whole thing was going to take me 2 hours, so tears were shed. But then I decided to come over here. The grass is also shorter over here, so there's less mosquitoes. I was also getting bed up a little bit, and luckily we are back to the fiberglass ones with the very easy outside, so I can for sure hopefully get this line done. I don't know why these other ones were different. So they're like these more plasticky ones, and you can see they're like really looped around. So this loop-de-doo, let's see here, that guy, that's around the wire. And so I have to sit with my little pliers and hope there's like a good end piece, like pull it around, and they're not as malleable as these ones. I don't know why. So I'm gonna get started on this line and see how far I can get. I'm calling it quits there. I got all the fiberglass ones out, but I want to show you guys what some of these look like. So this one specifically, you can see that it is just knotted through. So it comes up from this side and then through and then over. And then this one is kind of similar. I could probably pull that one off. This one I got off no problem. And then this one also has like a knot situation to it. And that's pretty much gonna be the rest of them out here. Estimating there are 34 poles of that kind of nonsense. So I'm gonna go inside and paint rebar instead. I'm also getting attacked by mosquitoes. We've had so much rain, and with the tall grass, they're a lot worse. Like when I was working over in that paddock's been mowed, and so they weren't bad at all, like 1 or 2 stray ones, but here they're swarming. So I'm gonna call it quits. Just about ready to finish up with painting, but I wanted to show the difference because from far away they look like they're already black, but you can see the difference between the ones that were painted and the ones that are not. So they look pretty good. 2 hours later, I am done with spray painting the rebar. I think in total that project probably took 4.5 hours of painting. So glad that's over with. I'm sure when we go to cut it, I'll see spots I missed and I can just do touch up. But for now, we're done. I talked a little bit in the last video about the windows, but basically I am drilling holes for the rebar to sit into to provide protection for the actual window pane. Eventually we want to replace that wood with new ones, but for now we're just going to use what we had existing. Okay, so I got the holes drilled into my test windowsill. Max is going to cut me a piece of rebar or 2. He's just going to use the angle grinder for my test ones, but he did pick up a different saw today that he can use for kind of the rest of them. And I'm going to see if I can't get it in easily myself. And if I can, that's awesome, because then I can just go forth and get the windows done as soon as he has the rest of the rebar cut. If not, might have to troubleshoot that, but we're keeping our fingers crossed. All right, first one is in. Had to go another size up on the top so that there was room for it to work its way in. So that's good. And then let's take a look at this door. First door is in and she looks so good. Only thing to finish on this one is the latch there is missing a screw because the impact gun died, so we had to plug that in. And then of course we have to stain it. And then we also need to just cut out that little bit right there because we're just gonna do a single board going up and down, and it'll go all the way to the top there. So it'll basically look like this board, just on that side. So we had a lot of brainstorming today. The door, Max said, was relatively easy to build. It just took a moment for us to get it up and get it straight and then figure out like how we wanted to attach it and whatnot, but looks super good. So that's where we're going to call it a night. Max only has 2 lessons at one barn tomorrow evening. So I'll have pretty much all day to work with the goal of, and I'm making guesses here, getting the rest of the dividers in, and then possibly cutting rebar, because now that we have a system worked out for the windows, I can just run with those when I have the time. And then we'll see how far we get with that tomorrow.
It's a baby toad. Oh, it's a baby. Oh, he's gone. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is.
Hello, happy Tuesday. We just got home from the barn and now I'm headed out to our barn to see what Max is able to get done today. Updates from today include getting this board replaced out how it should be. It's actually 2 boards, but for the rest of the stalls, it'll just be a singular one. And then you put one on the end as well. Got all of the rebar in, that looks super good. And then you've just finished with the last screw on the latch there. So that's what the stalls are gonna look like. What's left to do on the stalls is we need to put the mats in, because right now we gotta move those are from something else. So put the mats in, and I need to finish with the window rebar, and then we have to stain it. The first stain that we got wasn't quite what we were wanting. It was a little bit more brown than red, and we wanted a little bit of a redder tinge to it. We stopped on the way home at Home Depot again to pick up more Sawzall blades because those cut the rebar really well. We were able to return the metal saw that we got, and then we picked up the stain that we want. Where did Max put that test board? I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. So it still needs to dry a little bit more, but it's a little bit redder versus the other test was like, I mean, there's that one, but it didn't go on very well. But like it was this color. So kind of comparing to, one was definitely more browner. And we wanted a little bit of a redder one. The boards that we ended up using from their old stalls are a little bit redder too. So it's gonna look really good. He's very, very proud of his stalls, and he should be. Happy Thursday afternoon. I just got done with working and making some lunch, so I'm out to get started on stuff. I got eggs, gave some chickens some mealworms, and checking in on what Max is able to accomplish. He is off at a lesson right now just down the road, and then he'll be back. But he got the behind the silo cleaned up, threw out some garbage there, and cleaned out weeds and whatnot, so that's looking good. His plan for today was to do paddock stuff, but it rained last night, and then it was supposed to rain for a good portion of today, but it hasn't, which has been good, so that when he gets back from this lesson, I think he will get started on the front paddock. So that is mowing, that's weed whacker on the posts, that's cleaning out and making sure the run-in shed looks good so that we can fill it with straw. He'll place the water where he wants it, won't fill it yet, but he'll place it and get all the wires tightened really well. So I think that's what he's gonna do. I am gonna get continued on the windows, the rebar for the windows. All right, I'm really hoping I can get these 3 windows done so this works. This is my before. and there's the after. So I was able to get 2 windows completely done, and then I got that one measured out and the rebar cut for it. I just need to drill the holes and put those in, and then the window in this stall, I got that one measured out. So not too bad progress for 2 hours and figuring out how to do it. So I'm hoping that I can kind of just keep kicking. So there's one more in this stall, and then on this side, 1, 2, this one 3, 4, and then 5 here. Okay, so there are for sure 8 windows that I'll need to do, 2 tentatives, the tentatives being the wash stall and the grooming stall. So we'll see for those. And yeah, so I'm done for the afternoon. I am gonna turn some lights off, and then I'm gonna head to the barn lessoning Trevi tonight because we're horse showing next week, and then we'll see if we end up doing work this evening. I'm not sure or not. We'll find out. But I got sawdust everywhere. I don't wear my contacts much because they make my eyes super dry, and I'm super glad I'm not wearing them now because I'd be getting sawdust in my eyes with my contacts versus my glasses kind of help protect it. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna go get ready to leave. This is a clip from the jump school that we had on Thursday this week. We have not jumped much since the last horse show, which was at the end of July. And so we're using today to just do some coursework and get the rust knocked off. Such as with that missed lead change or late lead change there in the corner. The fence height that we ended up getting to today is about 1.10 1.15 m. So those brown standards on that outside line and the white ones of that first initial oxer are about 1.20-ish, 25 if you put it to the very top holes. So we are slowly adding back in height, and we'll jump bigger on the Friday lesson, which we did not end up doing any barn work on Thursday. Trying to remember my days now. On Thursday, so I won't have any videos from that or from Friday because we just did lessons. So I'll show the clip of the Friday lesson next. The course that we chose to do was just kind of a flowing one. We kind of went back and forth with the courses on which jump we started on and which direction we were doing things, because everything in this ring we can jump either direction. And that line, we worked on the outside line with the brown standards. We worked on doing 4s and 5s to work on adjustability. In this last course that we did, we just did the flowing 4 stride because I wanted to work on some pace for the ring, since the indoor is much harder to hold a real course pace than the outdoor. This is a clip from our Friday lesson. Our Illinois trainer we work with was supposed to come up and do lessons, but she had a last-minute doctor's appointment, so wasn't able to make it. Luckily, Max was able to get away from the horse show early enough in the day because they showed first class, and it's a pretty local one, so he was able to join us. This clip is just a very, very short portion of the overall lesson, and we ended up jumping a little bit more to height, and Trevor was awesome. Hello and happy Saturday. Today, Max is again back at Ledges, but this is their last day for showing. They're not going to show tomorrow, so he'll come home this afternoon, and I am judging a horse show. There is a trainer in Wisconsin who puts on some lovely shows. There's actually a bunch of really great local shows in Wisconsin. Today, I'm up in Beaver Dam at this cute little facility. Let me show you. So they've got this grass field with some eventing fences over there, and then they have some hunter ones over here that we'll be using today, and then they have this cute little sand ring with a clubhouse, and they've got me set up on the back of a truck, which is awesome, so I can see both rings. So they're running it as a derby, so they're going to start with doing a course over here in the sand ring, which I've got my course for there, and then they're going to come over here and do a course in the grass field, and then that's the course. So I've got my little cards and I'm all set up, ready to go. I really enjoy judging. This is the second time I've done it. The other time was earlier this summer, and it's fun. I really like these little local shows. They're fun to watch. They're fun to support. We'll have some clients, I think, attending local shows going forward, which will be great. But so that's my day-to-day after this. I need to run a couple errands and then head to the barn to ride Trevi, and I'm going to get packed. I'm not going to ride him tomorrow, so I'm going to get packed today. And then tomorrow will be a huge work day for Max and I, because we have tomorrow and we have Monday, and then we're moving horses in after lamp light. So we got to get a lot done. All right, the course today in the sand ring is this yellow fence to this yellow fence in a line, and then you go to the blue fence, bending to that maroon fence around the end of the ring, this outside line. I can't really tell what color it is. It might also be maroon or red. And you come around and you do this green line, so that green fence to that green fence. You do your first jump again, this yellow, and then probably through the center somewhere, and trot the orange. And then the course over on this side starts with that white fence with the brush underneath it, around to the natural fence with a line to the maroon, and then they come over here and do the green down to the stars, and then around the end they go that white gate with the almost like chevron pattern to that white, and then they end on this green fence right next to me. So when it comes to judging hunters, there are certain scores that have to be given based on what happens. So example, like a rail down or a stop will give you a certain score, but everything else kind of falls within like a range of scores or at the judge's discretion, and there's a bunch of components to judge on. So you need to score for like what the distance of the jump is, whether or not they make a lead change, or it's late, or it's dragged, or they never make it, or they trot it. Those are all different scores. How the horse jumps, because in hunters there are certain things you're looking for, because it's being judged based on what the horse's aptitude would be to be able to go out and fox hunt. So you don't want a horse that jumps in poor form, because over solid obstacles out in the field they would fall down. You don't want a horse that's ornery and like kicks out, because you could like kick and hurt a dog. So there are certain things. They're schooling and it's just adorable. There's this little kid on a pony. So the judge uses their discretion to determine like what the scores within the class should be, and you judge it like within the class, not necessarily like against a standard, which you can leave or take. I kind of wish sometimes there was a standard to help understand it better, even as a rider who's been doing it for years. So sometimes scores are thrown out, you're like, how did you get there? And then it's hard to learn from as well. Like in dressage, you'll get a scorecard back, and they'll give points within like a certain movement, and then they'll have some commentary as well, so like why they came up with that score. But when the hunters, you don't really get your card back, so you just have to go with the fact of like, okay, I got like a 70, I think this is why. So there's a lot of frustrating parts about hunters, mainly why I do a lot of jumpers, but there's a lot of good things too. So for example, you can use your discretion within the lower levels to give scores that are appropriate within the class, but are also like encouraging to the riders. Because if you scored against a standard that was also used to score like the 4-foot performance hunters in Florida on like the circuit shows, you would like never give above a smaller score. But for within the context of the class, it makes complete sense, and it was like, that's a really great course for like a short stirrup. So that's one of the nice things about hunters, is that you can give like complimentary scores for what the horse and rider are doing based on like how appropriate and correct it is for the level they're doing. I give a lot of points for try. I give a lot of points for fit between the horse and rider, even if they're not like the standard hunter picture, like as long as it's like appropriate and they look like they're having fun, and the horse looks like it's doing the safe, correct job. I give good scores for that. I don't penalize too much, especially in these lower levels, for trot changes. I know that's kind of like a hot topic, but I would rather see a very correct, safe trot change over like a very much rushed lead change for the lower levels where you're learning. Now that's technically like a break of gait and is like one of those hard scores in the hunters that you need to give, but for these shows I don't really try to penalize. I will put over like someone who had a very nice lead change over a trot change for sure, but like a really messy, like kind of scary lead change won't be higher than a trot change for me. Other things as well are like strides in the lines. I don't really count. I just see whether or not it fits and appropriate, and if it matches across the board. So if like the lines are set to like 5s across the board, let's say there's 3 lines and they're all 5s, and if someone does a 6, I want to see a 6 in each line, because like that's the striding appropriate to the horse. Now that would be something heavily penalized at upper level hunters, but for this level, again, where people are green and learning and like out here to have fun and have a good time. I want to see a safe, consistent, solid round over like what is like technically correct, because a lot of these horses are not like classical hunters, so they might have like an 8-foot stride over like a 12-foot stride, and I don't want to penalize that. There are certain nuances that like as a judge you kind of pick and choose what you determine is like good for the class. So but I overall for these local shows try to be fair and encouraging, while also rewarding like solid riding and a good looking like hunter picture, because you want people to strive for something that is their eventual goal. They're finishing schooling. Not too many riders at this show, which is too bad. Looks like a very lovely show, but happy to be here nonetheless. But they're gonna finish schooling and then we'll get showing, and then I think I'm gonna get out of here at a decent time. They said there's chicken noodle soup, which is great because it's like 50 something this morning, so a little chilly. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Good morning, happy Sunday. We finally have a work day again. This has been a very busy week for us doing other stuff, but I'm not riding today. Trevor was great for our jump school Friday. He was great for his flat yesterday, so you can have today and tomorrow off, and we'll ride Tuesday at the show. So no riding, no lessons, no nothing, just farm stuff. So agenda, Max is finishing with prepping this front paddock. So he got it, actually looks pretty good. I'll have to walk over there and show you guys in a minute. But he got it all mowed. He's finishing up weed whacking. I think there's a thing or two he wants to do with the fencing and the run-in shed. Like I guess so the top line of that fencing most of the way around is tape, but the front it's just like a rope. And for the non-horse people, it's like electrified tape, not just like Scotch tape. So he wants to replace the rope with tape at the front because it's higher visibility. And he wants to tighten it all. So that's step one. Then step two for him is moving into the barn and finishing with 2 of the stalls. So our game plan with moving horses, we had to kind of zhuzh it up a bit, is we are still going to move the first 5 horses in the same way we were planning on. So for a minute last week, earlier this week, we were like, okay, we're technically paid through on board through September. Why don't we just stay? It's no issue. But there is one horse coming from a different barn that they have already filled her stall. So, and then the horse has to have a friend. And it's like, well, if we're gonna move one, we might as well move enough of them. So we're keeping with the same 5, Bella and Trevor. So our personal horses. It is Claire's 2 horses, and it is one other person from the Carriage Ridge barn who just has a retiree. The plan is going to be, we come home from the show and we're dropping Trevor and Lopi off here. We got to get the 2 stalls finished for them. And then on Monday, we're going to go get Bella and this other horse, Kelly, from Carriage Ridge. And then we're also going to go get Caterpillar, Claire's yearling, from the other barn. And they're going to come here and they're going to be pasture boarded. So 2 of the 3 were going to be pasture boarded anyway. Bella, we were going to give her a stall just because, like, she should enjoy this barn that we built for her. She'll go into a stall later. But for now, since we know we can get 2 stalls done, one's almost done. But we for sure can get 2 stalls done. They're going to be pasture boarded. And with this one paddock, let me go out here, that we have gotten completed. We chose this one because it's basically a complete paddock. Both other pasture board paddocks need some sort of new fencing to complete, like the dry lot. And so this one, so it runs the front of the road, it runs up each side, and then that wood section there is like the dry lot. I say dry lot because that's what it's going to be. It's just overgrown right now, so it's grass. And then it kind of shoots up past that way. It's like an odd shape. But because there's like 2 different sections of fencing, for the first day or 2, during the day, Trevor and Lopi can be in the dry lot section and the 3 mares can be out in the grass. And then at night, they can go into the dry lot section with the run-in shed and all of that and be good. That's only going to be for a day or 2, because when we get home from the show, Max reasonably is not going to have a ton of lessons because everybody just got home from the show. So they won't be riding. We'll give the horses a break. And all the horses will be here, so he won't be working up at Carriage Ridge doing stalls there. so we can really get to work and get the other paddocks and the other stalls done, because we have until the 27th for 2 more horses to move in. So we have a bit of a moment of a break before we get 2 more, and then we have 2 more moving in September 30th and 2 more moving in October 1st, and then the next batch will come in November. So we have some time once we get back. It's just we need to get 2 stalls and this 1 paddock done. And I think we can do that. We have today, we have tomorrow. That is the game plan. We shall see. But I'm feeling pretty confident about it. I am going to do a couple things this morning. I need to water my plants really quick, and then I have a bunch of garbage I need to put in the dumpster because that will be leaving us, I think, probably on Monday. And then I'm gonna get to cutting rebar. All right, I got that loaded. We'll see if all of those make it. I'm sure they're gonna fall off, but that's mostly boxes we used for packing that ended up getting stuck in the basement instead of thrown out. So there it goes. So I'm gonna take those to, I need to get a towel for the seat. There's a lot of dew on it. We've been getting some frosty mornings. Kind of early for it, but I'll take it. I love the fall. I love the jackets and the sweatshirts. It's perfect. Fall in the Midwest is always welcome for me. Yeah, so all of these were from packing. They got stuck in the basement, so now I need to throw them out. In the past, I've been a hoarder of boxes because I always knew that we would be moving to a farm, so I've kept things that stuff came in that was breakable, or like were little appliances. But since we're here now, don't need them anymore, so there's no reason to keep them. So they're gonna go in the garbage. Oh no! Oh no! We lost him! Only a couple though. I can't tell if I lost someone in the driveway. I'll go look in a minute. Alright, success. I didn't drop any packages over here, just in that last little turn, so woohoo! But I did forget my tea, so I came back for that. I don't really know where to put it because there's no cup holders. I'll go with that. Alright, so my next trash pile is this one right here, minus the quote bigger beams. So wires in the old windows are what's gonna go in the dumpster next. I think I misjudged the temp today. It's only in like the lower, right now I think it's still in the 50s, but the high is only supposed to be like 64 or 65. But with the sun out and no breeze, it's kind of a lovely day. So I'm sure I'm gonna need that coat for when I'm inside, but when I'm moving around outside in the sun, I think it's gonna be fine. Okay, so like I said, this pile is garbage minus the quote big beams, and I think he just means like the actual big beams, not the ones they like put together. And then what else? So these windows are ones that we need to get cleaned and repainted, and then the panes switched out of. So we're keeping those. We're keeping like the metal pieces there, and there's one over there. But then I think everything else can kind of be garbage. I think I might try to move the bigger stuff, the stuff we're keeping, into the machine shed just so it's like out of the way, and I think that's where it's gonna live anyway. Yeah, so I'm gonna get to work on that. But first I can walk over here and show this paddock a little bit more. Okay, so this is the one the other day I was taking the posts out of. That's another reason why we chose this front paddock to start instead of the back ones, because I wasn't able to get the posts out of those ones quite yet since they're a lot trickier. Okay, so this is the dry lot following the wood fence line. The wood fence line, there's like a corner behind the run-in shed and then runs up this side and front. So as you can see, it's just grass. It's been mowed. Max is gonna take out that grass. I don't know how, but he's going to, because there's just a little too much versus out there that mowed down fairly nicely. So this will eventually be a dry lot. We're not sure what's like underneath this grass in terms of like what kind of base was under there, because we're assuming at some point this was already a dry lot, because that's how this paddock is kind of set up. So we're hoping that once the grass is eaten down, it'll be pretty nice and we just have to add maybe like a little bit, but we'll see how that ends up progressing. So like I said, Trevor and Lopi are going to go in here until we can get another paddock ready for them, and then the mares will be out on the grass during the day. We're gonna have 2 waterers, so there'll be one in the dry lot and then one outside, and then they'll come into the dry lot at night, which was our plan anyway for pasture board horses. And then eventually this front one, this line is going to extend all the way down, and then just this will be pasture board. It'll be a smaller group of 2 horses, and then that guy will be split into 3 individuals. So, but for now, this is how we are starting. And Max is almost done, it looks like. Looks like he got this weed whacked already, and he is, I don't know if you can see him. Can I see him? There he is, over there. So the paddock just kind of goes up that way over that tree line and then kind of down. It's an interesting shape, but so that's what he's doing. All right, so we're a little bit, I don't know if it's front loaded or back loaded. We got more stuff towards the back, so I'm gonna try to throw this stuff over the side here into the front of this container. So what Max is doing is that he took the mower and he's basically mowing / pushing them in rows, and then from there he can pick them up pretty easy. What I need to do is sort through that pile of wood for keep and throw. I need to put these windows and the rest of the window stuff in the wash stall. I need to take the metal brackets, so there's a couple on this ledge here, one there, some there, and then there's a few pieces by the front, and put them in the machine shed. And then I'm just gonna try to pick up a few of the assorted items and just get it a little cleaned up. So I get to work on that. All cleaned up. We took a break because a couple of friends came over to look at the property and we had lunch, but got that finished. So everything's cleaned up except for there are a few beams right there that they're too big for me to lift without potentially hurting myself. So Max is gonna grab those, but I got everything else outside kind of picked up, cleaned up, organized, etc. So it looks a lot better. Only things that are remaining out here still are things we need for the stalls, pretty much, mostly. Got the mats, stone dust, the boards. Some of those boards are for fencing though. All right, I'm going to now get the measurements for... Why are you barking at me? I live here. Hello. It's Ellie. Measurements for rebar, and I'm gonna start cutting. Able to get this window and that window done. Still have all the other ones to do. But what I have decided to do is when we had them inset here in this stall, we decided to do like a 2-inch, but we were running into, and I don't know if you can see it pretty well. I might have to come back here. There, yeah, you can kind of see there's like a board that runs the entire barn. It's what all the beams like sit on. And it was just running into it, so you can see I had to like drill up the side of it to be able to get the poles to go up to come down. And so what I did for this stall is I made it just 1.5 inches. And so a couple of them I was still a little bit too deep in, but the other ones worked out pretty well. So I'm gonna do 1.5 inches going forward, a lot quicker and a lot easier. So now I've got a pretty good rhythm. Apparently this one window, Max says is crooked. One of the ones I did yesterday. Let's see. A little bit. The 2 end ones are straight and the rest of them just kind of lean a little bit this way. There we go. So I'm not sure how we're gonna fix that, if we will. It's gonna bother Max if we don't though. All right, I'm actually gonna go find him and see what his agenda is with finishing this paddock so he can get inside, because I don't know how many rebars he's gonna want me to cut for that stall. So we'll go find out. It's just about 9:30, so we are calling it a night, and we got a lot done. So we stained the first two stalls. Lopi's stall, or this stall here on the end, is stained inside and out, and I got this wall done. And then I just ran out of stain as I was finishing that stall, so perfect. But I got this front done, and then the inside on the other side done. And then what we decided to do moving forward, which makes sense, is stain the pieces and then put the rebar instead of trying to paint in between it. So lesson learned, but it's looking really, really good. So what we have to do still is, Max got the lines done, but tomorrow he's gonna drill the holes for the rebar. He's going to cut up the rebar and put it in and put it up. And then we need to do stone dust and mats. We're not gonna have time to stain the rest of this stall before Trevor's in it. So what we'll probably end up doing is, as we complete other stalls, we'll just play musical stalls. So he'll go sit in one while we can stain this one and kind of finish some stuff out. But yeah, I got both of those windows done. This door is done. We just have to put it up on the stall. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy with it. The color looks great, and it covers the original stain pretty well. And now I'm gonna go to the tack room and show what Taylor was able to accomplish today, which was a lot as well. Here we are. We've got bridle racks up on the wall and saddle racks over on this wall. This one comes up just enough. Oh, am I holding it? There it is. That we can get in and out of there. And then these ones, we've got new brackets on there as well. So that comes up. And I think we're gonna put, I don't know, like a hinge or something on that one. Kind of like a hood of a car. But don't they look so good? Oh my goodness. And then we've got little name things that we're gonna print off names and laminate them and put them in for the horses on the bridle racks, and then the riders' last names on the saddle racks. But oh my gosh, it's amazing. So what we still need to do in here is get this window cleaned up, painted, and put back in, do another clean of kind of everything, and then we have flooring to put down eventually as well. But everything else, oh, and then put that up to cover the electrical situation. But it looks so good. But that's where I'm going to leave it for today and for this week. Tomorrow, we need to get the trailer packed and ready. We got to finish those two stalls and get ready for the show.